Hello, dear people. Thank you so much for joining me today for this presentation on Doughnut economics in Amsterdam. So this presentation was prepared for the Eurec Alumni Gathering in 2022. Eurec was also the institution that coordinated the master program that I did. And yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't be in Brussels on the day because there was a clash with an action where we're protesting the expansion of fossil fuel infrastructure by Total Energies. Nevertheless, I really wanted to share this research with you, and I hope this way works as well. So just to start with a little bit about myself. So my name is Aman Valia, and I just tried to capture in one picture a timeline of my career. So as you can see, I was born in the city of Frankfurt in 1996, and then spent my childhood in the town of Carbon, and yeah, also my high school, and Carbon is a town close by to Frankfurt. Then for my bachelor's, I decided to pursue a degree in economics and business administration in Frankfurt. And then absolving that, I was like, okay, this is not so complete. Like, where's the social aspects? Where's the environmental aspects? And I was looking for something more purposeful, at least from my perspective. And that's when I came across the master program in sustainable energy system management in the city of Groningen in the Netherlands. Oops, well, mistakes happen. Yes, and that was really great because it allowed me to take this knowledge from economics and apply it to the energy transition. And yeah, as part of this master's, I did my graduation project with the municipality of Amsterdam in the energy transition team. And yeah, that's also, by the way, what made me an activist. Having these experiences in Amsterdam really made me want to stay in Amsterdam. So I was looking for work in Amsterdam, and luckily enough, I found a job at the Carbon Trust, which is where I work now also. And I encourage you to have a look at the website if you're interested. And that brings us to the current day. So what are the objectives of today's talk? Firstly, I would like to introduce my master thesis analysis. Secondly, I would like to introduce my perception of the theories of doughnut economics. And third but not last, I would like to share why I am a climate activist. So in a nutshell, my master thesis analysis involves the following topic, which is capturing residual heat from data centers and then using that as an alternative energy source to natural gas. More specifically in the built environment for heating purposes, residential heating. Can also be for other heating, hospitals, etc. It depends on the local context. So just so you can get a basic understanding of this concept. So in a data center, there are lots of servers, and these servers, they are run by electricity. Now, when they are running, it produces a lot of heat, the same way that your laptop can get quite hot if you're using it for a long time. And the idea is to capture that heat, because at the moment, it is just released into the ambient air, and it's already there in existing data centers. And that means it makes sense to capture that heat from an economic and an environmental perspective. So around this topic, the analysis I did covered the following domains. First of all, the technical domain. Secondly, the social and environmental domain. And thirdly, the economic domain. And the analysis and research I do lies at the intersection of these three. Now, going into this research, I learned and realized that there is actually an underlying holistic domain, which I didn't consider at the beginning, and that is the natural and spiritual world. So, what is doughnut economics? I think there are several ways and perspectives to look at it. So I want to talk about my perception of the theories of doughnut economics. And this is based on Kate Raworth's talks and materials and Sanford Hinden. So first of all, it means for me to move away from the commodity-based, linear, and growth-addicted economy to economies focused on well-being and health. So moving away from the linear take, make, use, lose, and move to circular models, etc. So the doughnut takes on the form of a disc with a hole, and it has two boundaries, the social foundation and the environmental ceiling. And as Kate Raworth describes it, in the middle of these boundaries lies the sweet spot, the safe and just space for humanity, in which humanity can thrive. Beyond the boundaries lies extinction. So Doughnut economics consists of these 7 ways of thinking. And if you've had a look at the book, you realize that the book is structured according to these 7 ways. Then, of course, there is the Doughnut itself, which you see here. You see the social foundation, the ecological ceiling, and you see at the outside the overshoot in the environmental sphere, and in the inside and the shortfall of the social sphere. Now, and yeah, well, that's me, and I am acting within this safe and just space for humanity and working towards a regenerative and distributive economy. So this gives us a compass to kind of track how we are doing. And as you probably know, we're doing pretty bad. So I'm not going to trouble you with the numbers, but in the back of the book, the statistics are there. And yeah, personally, I really find the biodiversity loss very shocking. So there are all these different aspects to Doughnut economics, but I want to focus on one aspect specifically, and that aspect is knowledge sharing. So I want to show what would be possible in the safe and just space for humanity. And the interesting thing is, at this point, there's nothing to do for you. I just would like you to know that I'm working on this. And the notion that I want to share is value creation through knowledge sharing. And I'm so confident in this, or we are so confident in this, that we are actually ready to use our bodies to bring attention to this topic. So how does this relate to my master thesis analysis? So going back to the data center, I was explaining that it makes economic and environmental sense to do it, but still this heat was not being used in Amsterdam, right? And I had to ask myself, why is that so? And I just want to go into that a little bit now. So here you can see the starting point. On the right, you see the data center here, and then low temperature heating lines that were planned to supply the heat from the data center, which has a temperature of 35 degrees. That heat would be then transported to these different demand clusters consisting of several buildings, mostly residential housing, to supply them with the necessary heat. Now, the issue was that the existing district heating is operating at high temperatures of 120 degrees, and therefore there were unclarities about who would carry the costs, the operation and management responsibilities, and the ownership for this low temperature heating line. Further on, I could also see that actually the data center produces way more heat than the local demand is. And that means to make it economically feasible, this residual heat after satisfying the local demand would need to be used. And the idea was to feed that heat into the existing heating network, which currently runs on natural gas. However, that was not happening. And I had to ask myself why. So I zoomed out to look at the bigger picture. So the project I just showed you is in this area. What you can see here is the existing district heating network. You see a huge network. And this network is operated by one party, Vattenfall, and has a centralized operating logic because it is powered by this natural gas plant here. Whereas the data center solution is decentralized, so there's a conflict of interest. Now, what I highlighted here is that Vattenfall, instead of looking really deeply into the data center, they're planning to build biomass plants. And that is, in my opinion, not a good solution. What we should be doing instead is to look at these local, decentralized, neighborhood-based solutions and really tailor the solutions to the local context so that they come to the benefits of the residents. So things I've learned in this research the hard way is that technical solutions are there, and the main challenges seem to be social and economic. We have to be aware of the human and social aspects of climate change and ecological loss. Lastly, all these things cause too much discomfort or pain to take it in all at once, and it's nothing that we can address in one conversation. Therefore, we should not try to do that and have an ongoing conversation instead, by taking a step-by-step approach with bite-sized pieces. And to bring attention to the social and human aspects, I did this action where I sat down to ask people to talk with me with climate change, and guess what? Barely anyone did. So yeah, coming to the end of the presentation. So that was quite a mouthful, I know. But like my main intention today was to encourage collaboration around this topic beyond just Amsterdam, so we can learn from that and take it elsewhere. And for that, share my research. The next step that I plan to do is an open for all book club at the Doughnut Economics Action Lab. And then let's see what happens in Amsterdam. So I hope this was interesting for you. And I would like to leave you with this statement. Amsterdam has claimed to implement Doughnut economics in the city. So how will this look in practice? Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question or would like to connect, you can reach me through the following channels. And I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you so much for listening today.